The massive doors of the throne room opened slowly. Hannah walked forward with her two children holding her hands. She had not seen this place in 20 years. The golden walls still shone with the same light. The crystal ceiling still showed the stars beyond. Everything looked the same, but Hannah knew she was different now. Queen Marae sat on the throne at the far end of the hall. She was tall and beautiful, with silver skin that glowed softly. Her eyes were the color of deep purple. When she saw Hannah, she stood up quickly. Her hand went to her mouth. Tears began to fall down her face. "My daughter," Marae whispered. Her voice shook. "You are alive." Hannah felt her own tears coming. She had dreamed of this moment for so long. But she also felt afraid. She looked down at her children. Dane was 8 years old, with dark hair and brown eyes like his father. Bora was 6, with silver streaks in her black hair. Both children had skin that was lighter than pure Valorians, but darker than pure humans. They were beautiful, but they were different. The court advisors stood on both sides of the throne room. They wore long robes of blue and gold. Hannah could see the shock on their faces. Some looked angry. Others looked disgusted. One old man named Hayan stepped forward. His face was hard and cold. "Princess Hannah," Hayan said loudly, "you return after 20 years. We thought you were dead. But you bring these ... children. What are they?" Hannah felt anger rise in her chest. She held her children's hands tighter. "These are my son and daughter, Dane and Bora. They are half human and half Valorian." The court exploded with noise. Advisors shouted at each other. Some called it impossible. Others called it forbidden. Hayan raised his hand for silence. "The royal bloodline cannot be mixed," Hayan said. "Our laws are clear. This is a crime against our people." Queen Marae walked down from her throne. She moved slowly toward Hannah. The room became quiet. Everyone watched. Marae stopped in front of her daughter. For a long moment, she just looked at her. Then she looked down at the children. Dane stared back at his grandmother with brave eyes. Bora hid a little behind Hannah's leg, but peeked out with curiosity. Marae knelt down slowly. She reached out her hand toward Dane. The boy looked at his mother. Hannah nodded. Dane stepped forward and took his grandmother's hand. Marae gasped. She could feel the warmth of his skin. It was different from Valorian's skin. It was softer, warmer, but she could also feel the energy inside him. It was Valorian energy, but mixed with something else. Something wild and strong. "What is your name, child?" Marae asked softly. "I am Dane," the boy said. His voice was clear and unafraid. "My father was Taiyang. He was human. He was a good man. He taught me to be brave and kind." "Your father is gone?" Marae asked. "Yes," Dane said. His eyes became sad. "He died 3 years ago. He protected our home from bad people. Mother says he was a hero." Marae looked up at Hannah. "I am sorry for your loss, daughter." Hannah nodded. She could not speak. The emotions were too strong. Bora suddenly ran forward. She hugged her grandmother's leg. "Grandmother," she said happily, "Mother told us about you. She said you are the queen of the whole empire. Are you really?" Marae smiled through her tears. She picked up the little girl. Bora laughed. Her skin began to glow softly with silver light. It was a Valorian trait that showed happiness. "Yes, little one," Marae said. "I am the queen, and you are my granddaughter." Hayan stepped forward again. "Your Majesty, this is not proper. These children are not pure Valorian. They cannot be accepted into the royal family. The law forbids it." Marae stood up, still holding Bora. Her face became hard. "I am the queen. I decide what the law means. The council will not accept this," Hayan said. "There will be a trial. The people will demand it." "Then let there be a trial," Hannah said loudly. She stepped forward. "I am not afraid. My children are not mistakes. They are gifts. They are the future." The advisors began shouting again. Some agreed with Hayan, others were not sure. A few looked at the children with curiosity instead of anger. A woman named Salmon pushed through the crowd. She was a scientist, one of the best in the empire. She had gray hair and kind eyes. "Your Majesty," Soman said, "may I examine the children?" "Not as a judge, but as a scientist. I wish to understand what they are. This has never happened before." Murray looked at Hannah. Hannah thought for a moment, then nodded. "You may examine them," Hannah said, "but they stay with me. Always." "Of course," Soman said. She smiled at the children. "Come, little ones. I will not hurt you. I just want to see how special you are." That night, Hannah sat in her old bedroom. It had not changed. The same bed, the same windows, looking out at the purple sky. But she felt like a stranger here now. Dane and Bora slept in the bed beside her. They were tired from the long journey. Queen Murray came to visit. She sat on the edge of the bed. For a long time, mother and daughter just looked at each other. "Tell me everything," Murray said finally. "Tell me about these 20 years. Hannah began to speak. She told about the crash. About waking up on the human colony world called New Buzan. About Tai Yang finding her in the wreckage. About how he cared for her injuries. About how she fell in love with him. He was not like the humans in our history books," Hannah said. "He was gentle and smart. He made me laugh. He showed me that humans have souls as deep as ours. Maybe deeper." She told about their wedding under human stars. About the birth of Dane. About learning that human and Valorian could have children together. About Bora coming 2 years later. About the happy years they had. Then she told about the raiders. About Tai Yang's death. About being alone with 2 children who were different from everyone around them. About finally deciding to come home. Murray listened to everything. When Hannah finished, the queen was crying again. "I am sorry I was not there," Murray said. "I am sorry you faced all of that alone." "I was not alone," Hannah said. "I had Tai Yang. I had my children. I had friends among the humans. Captain Juan helped us get here. She is a good woman." Murray looked at the sleeping children. "What will we do, daughter?" "Hyun is right about one thing. The council will demand a trial. Many of our people will not accept these children. Then we will fight," Hannah said. Her voice was strong. "I will show them that my children are not weak. They are not mistakes. They are proof that love is stronger than old laws." Murray smiled sadly. "You have become very brave." "I learned from the best," Hannah said. "I learned from you, mother. And I learned from my husband. And now I teach my children to be brave too." The queen stood up. She kissed Hannah's forehead. "Sleep now. Tomorrow will be difficult, but we will face it together." After Murray left, Hannah lay down between her children. She listened to them breathing. She thought about the days ahead. She knew there would be anger and fear. She knew some would try to hurt her children, but she also knew something the advisors did not know. Her children were special. They had gifts that neither humans nor Valorians had alone. Soon, everyone would see. Soon, they would understand. Hannah closed her eyes and slept. Tomorrow, the real battle would begin. Hannah stood in the medical center while Dr. Salmon examined her children. The room was filled with strange devices that hummed and glowed. Dane sat very still, while Salmon passed a scanner over his head. Bora played with a small light that floated in the air. "Remarkable," Salmon said quietly. She looked at the data on her screen. "The children have DNA from both species, but it is not simply mixed. It is woven together in a new pattern. I've never seen anything like this." "Are they healthy?" Hannah asked. This was her biggest fear. She worried that being mixed might hurt them somehow. "Healthy," Salmon laughed. "They are more than healthy. Dane, can you solve this puzzle for me?" She showed the boy a holographic puzzle. It was the kind used to test young Valorian nobles. Most could not solve it until they were 15 years old. Dane looked at it for only a moment. Then his hands began to move. He touched the floating pieces and moved them around. In less than 2 minutes, he solved it. Salmon's eyes went wide. "Impossible. That puzzle usually takes hours." "Dane is very smart," Hannah said proudly. "He always has been." "It is not just intelligence," Salmon said. "His brain works differently. He sees patterns that pure Valorians miss. And Bora, watch this. Salman took out a crystal that glowed with radiation. It was the kind that could hurt Valorians if they touched it for too long. She held it carefully with special gloves. Then she put it on the table. Bora, dear, Salman said. Can you pick up this pretty crystal for me? Bora skipped over and picked it up with her bare hands. The crystal glowed brighter in her hands. She smiled at it. It is warm, she said. I like it. Hana felt fear. Bora put it down. It is safe, Salman said quickly. Look at the readings. The radiation is not hurting her. Her human DNA gives her resistance that Valorians do not have. But she also has Valorian strength. She is better than either species alone. Hana thought back to the early years on New Busan. She remembered when Dane was born. The human doctors were worried. They had never delivered a half-alien baby before. But the birth went smoothly. Dane came into the world crying loudly, his small fists waving. Tai Yang had held his son with tears in his eyes. He is perfect, he said. He is ours. The memory made Hannah's heart hurt. She missed Tai Yang so much. He had been afraid at first when she told him what she really was. But his love was stronger than his fear. He loved her for 20 years. He loved their children without question. She remembered the day Bora was born too. It was during a bad storm. The medical center lost power. Tai Yang delivered the baby himself, with only a small light to see. When Bora was born, her skin glowed softly in the darkness. The silver light from her Valorian heritage lit up the room. She is magic, Tai Yang had whispered. Both our children are magic. A knock on the door brought Hannah back to the present. Elder Han entered with 2 guards. His face was cold as always. Council has decided, Hyun said. There will be a formal trial in 3 days. You will defend your actions before the entire empire. If you are found guilty of bloodline contamination, you will be exiled. The children will be taken and studied. You will not take my children, Hannah said. Her voice was ice. We will do what the law requires, Han said. He looked at Dane and Bora with disgust. These creatures should not exist. Dane stood up from his chair. Though he was only 8 years old, he walked up to Haon without fear. We are not creatures, he said. We are people. My father taught me that all people deserve respect. Hyun laughed coldly. Your father was human. They are a young race. They know nothing of purity and tradition. Father knew about love, Dane said. He knew about sacrifice. He died protecting people he did not even know. What have you sacrificed, old man? Haon's face turned red with anger. He raised his hand as if to strike the child. But Bora suddenly appeared between them. Her skin glowed bright silver. The temperature in the room dropped. Ice began to form on the walls. Do not hurt my brother, Bora said. Her voice was small, but her power was not. The guards stepped back in fear. Salman quickly moved forward. Bora, calm down, dear. Everything is fine. The little girl looked at her mother. Hannah nodded. Slowly, Bora's glow faded. The ice melted away. But everyone in the room had seen her power. Hyun stared at the children with new eyes. Now there was fear mixed with his disgust. The trial will proceed, he said quietly. Then he left quickly. After he was gone, Salman smiled. Well, that was interesting. Bora, have you done that before? Sometimes when I am scared, Bora said. Mother says I must control it. You did well, Salman said. Very well indeed. That evening, Hannah sat with her children and told them stories about their father. This had become their ritual. Every night, they remembered Tai Yang together. Tell us about the day father proposed, Dane said. He loved this story. Hannah smiled. It was during the Festival of Lights. The whole colony was celebrating. Your father took me to the highest hill. We could see all the lights below us, the stars above us. He got down on one knee. She acted it out, making Bora giggle. He said, Hannah, I know you are from the stars. I know you could have anyone in the galaxy. But I am just a simple engineer from Earth. Still, I love you more than all the stars in the sky. Will you marry me? What did you say? Bora asked, even though she knew the answer. I said yes, Hannah said. I said yes because he saw me. Not a princess. Not an alien. Just me. He saw my heart. I miss him, Dane said quietly. I miss him too, Hannah said. She held both children close. But he lives on in you. In your kindness, Dane. In your laughter, Bora. He is still with us. Later, after the children slept, Queen Marae came to visit again. She brought wine and sat with her daughter. Someone told me what happened, Marae said. He is frightened now. That makes him more dangerous? Let him be frightened, Hannah said. My children are not weapons, but they will defend themselves. The trial will be difficult, Marae said. Hyun will bring up the old laws. He will say that purity is what makes us strong. I will show him that he is wrong, Hannah said. Mother, the Valorian Empire has not changed in 10,000 years. We are the same as we always were, but the galaxy has changed around us. Humans have grown strong. Other races have advanced. We have stayed still. That is what Hein wants, Marae said. He fears change. Change is not our enemy, Hannah said. Fear is our enemy. Love is our strength. Marae looked at her daughter with pride. When did you become so wise? When I became a mother, Hannah said simply. The next day, a ship arrived from human space. A woman named Nari stepped out. She was the human ambassador to the Galactic Council. She was small, but her eyes were sharp and intelligent. I heard about Princess Hannah's return, Nari said to Queen Marae. I came to offer Earth's support. This is an internal matter, Hyun said coldly. He was present at the meeting, is it? Nari asked. 2 of your citizens are half human? That makes it our business too. We protect our people. They are not human, Haon said. They are mistakes. Nari's face became hard. Choose your next words carefully, Elder. Those children have human blood. If you harm them, you harm humanity. Earth will not forget that. Are you threatening us? Haon demanded. I'm promising you, Nari said. Touch those children, and you will learn why humanity has survived against every threat in the galaxy. We protect our own. Ray raised her hand for silence. There will be no threats here. Ambassador Nari, you are welcome to attend the trial as an observer. But this matter will be decided by Valorian law. As long as justice is served, Nari said, that is all Earth asks. After the meeting, Nari met with Hannah privately. The 2 women sat in a garden while the children played nearby. Captain Jiwon sends her regards, Nari said. She wanted to come, but I told her to stay. If things go badly, we may need her to get you and the children out. It will not come to that, Hannah said. Are you sure? Nari asked. I have read Valorian law. The penalty for bloodline contamination is severe. I am sure, Hannah said. She watched Dane teaching Bora how to throw a ball. Because my children are proof that the old laws are wrong, when people see them, really see them, they will understand. I hope you are right, Nari said. For all our sakes, the trial was set. In 3 days, Hannah would face the judgment of the Empire. But she was not afraid. She had faced worse than judges and laws. She had faced loss. She had faced grief. She had faced being alone. And she had survived it all because of love. Love for her children. Love for her lost husband. Love for the future. Now she would show the Empire what love could do. The trial chamber was enormous. Thousands of Valorians filled the seats that rose up in circles around the center floor. Their silver skin glowed in the dim light, making the room look like it was filled with stars. At the top sat the Council of Elders. 12 ancient Valorians who had lived for thousands of years. Hannah stood in the center with Dane and Bora on either side of her. She wore a simple blue dress. She had refused the royal robes that her mother offered. She wanted to stand as a mother, not as a princess. Elder Haon rose from his seat. His voice echoed through the chamber. We are here to judge Princess Hannah for the crime of bloodline contamination. She has mixed royal Valorian blood with human blood. She has produced offspring that violate our most sacred laws. The penalty is exile and separation from the children, crowd murmured. Some nodded in agreement. Others looked uncertain. How do you answer these charges? Haon asked. Hannah stepped forward. Her voice was clear and strong. "I do not deny what I did. I fell in love with a human man. One married him. I had children with him. And I would do it all again." The crowd erupted in noise. Some shouted in anger. Others in support. Hyun demanded silence. "You admit your crime then?" Hyun said. "The law is clear. You must be punished." "Your law is old," Hannah said. "It was made in a time when we did not know other races, when we feared what we did not understand, but times have changed. We must change with them." A young Valorian noble named Kale stood up in the audience. He was only 20 years old, barely an adult by Valorian standards. "May I speak?" he asked. Taeyeon frowned, but nodded. Kale walked down to the floor. He stood near Dane. "I have met these children. I have talked with Dane. He is my friend. He taught me a game from Earth called chess. He beat me every time. He is smart and kind. How can this be wrong?" "Sit down, boy," Hyun said. "You are too young to understand." "I am young," Kale agreed. "But maybe that is why I can see the truth. These children are not monsters. They are not mistakes. They are just children." Ambassador Nari stood up from where she sat in the observer section. "May I address the council?" "You may not," Hyun said quickly. "This is not your concern." "Elder Heian is wrong," came a deep voice. General Yunho stepped forward. He was a war hero, commander of the Valorian fleet. His uniform was covered in medals. Earth is now a major power in the galaxy. They have ships, weapons, and courage. If we make enemies of them over these children, we will regret it. "Are you suggesting we bow to human threats?" Hyun demanded. "I am suggesting we use wisdom," Yunho said. "I have fought beside human soldiers. They are brave and loyal. They do not give up. They do not abandon their own. If we harm these children, Earth will respond. Are we ready for that war?" The council members looked at each other. They had not considered this. Queen Marae stood up from her throne. "I will speak now." Everyone went silent. The queen rarely spoke at trials. When she did, people listened. 20 years ago, I lost my daughter," Marae said. "I thought she was dead. I mourned for her. And now she has returned to me. Yes, she has changed. Yes, her children are different. But she is alive. She is home." "Am I supposed to punish her for surviving?" "The law demands it," Hyun said. "Then perhaps the law is wrong," Mirae said. The crowd gasped. A queen questioning the law was shocking. "Dr. Soman," Marae called. "Tell the council what you discovered." Soman stood and walked to the center. She activated a holographic display. Images of DNA strands appeared in the air. "I have studied the children extensively. Their genetics are fascinating. They have eliminated several weaknesses that pure Valorians carry. They are resistant to radiation poisoning. They can survive in environments that would kill us. And their mental capabilities exceed both species." "That proves nothing," Hyun said. "They are still impure." "Define impure," Salmon said. "If by impure you mean better adapted, stronger, more capable, then yes, they are impure. But I would call that evolution." Suddenly, alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed throughout the chamber. A guard ran in, his face pale with fear. "Long-range sensors have detected something. Ships, thousands of them. Coming from deep space." General Yunho immediately accessed his wrist communicator. His face went white as he read the data. "It is the Harvester," he whispered. "The ancient enemy. It is awakened." The chamber erupted in chaos. Valorians had legends about the Harvester. 10,000 years ago, it had nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy. It was a machine intelligence that consumed biological matter for energy. The ancient races had barely defeated it and sent it into deep sleep. "How long until it reaches us?" Marae demanded. 3 weeks at most, Yunho said. "It is moving fast. Already it has destroyed 2 colony worlds. The Kryn and the Vexer are gone." Hyun stood frozen. His face showed his fear. "We must prepare our defenses. We must call back all our fleets. It will not be enough, Yunho said grimly. The harvester learns. It adapts. Our old tactics will not work. Ambassador Nari stood up. Earth will help. We have ships. We have weapons. Together, we might have a chance. The harvester cannot be defeated by weapons alone, Salman said. She was reading data on her communicator. It is machine intelligence. It calculates every move. It predicts every tactic. That is how it won before. Then how do we beat it? Kale asked. Everyone looked at each other. No one had an answer. Then Dane spoke. His young voice carried in the silent chamber. You beat it by being unpredictable. All eyes turned to the 8-year-old boy. What do you mean, child? Yunho asked. Machines think in patterns, Dane said. They calculate. They predict. But they cannot understand things that do not follow patterns. Things like love, like courage, like doing something crazy that makes no sense. Summon's eyes went wide. He is right. The harvester can predict Valorian tactics. It can predict human tactics. But what if we combine them in ways that do not make sense? What if we use hybrid thinking? She turned to look at Dane and Bora. What if we use the children? No, Hannah said immediately. They are just children. They are our only chance, Salman said. Their minds work differently. They think in ways no pure species thinks. The harvester cannot predict them. Yunho walked over to Dane. He knelt down to look the boy in the eyes. Do you understand what Dr. Soman is asking? We would need you to help plan our battle strategy. You would need to interface with our tactical computers. It would be dangerous. Dane looked at his mother. She was shaking her head, tears in her eyes. How many people will die if I do nothing? Dane asked. Yunho's jaw tightened. Billions. Maybe trillions. Dane took a deep breath. Then I will do it. My father taught me that heroes do what is right, even when they are scared. I am scared. But I will do it anyway. Bora grabbed her brother's hand. I will help too. We are stronger together. Hana fell to her knees. She pulled her children close and cried, You are too young. This is too much to ask. You taught us to be brave, Mother, Dane said softly. Now we must be. Queen Marae walked down from her throne. She placed her hands on her grandchildren's heads. You are more worthy of the royal bloodline than anyone in this chamber. If you do this, if you save our people, no one will ever question your place here again. She turned to face Hyun. Hey, the trial is over. I declare it finished. My daughter is innocent. Her children are heroes. Does anyone dare disagree? Heian looked around the chamber. He saw the faces of the crowd. He saw their hope. He saw their fear. He saw them looking at the half-human children not with disgust anymore, but with desperate faith. No, Your Majesty, Hyun said quietly. I do not disagree. Then we prepare for war, Marae declared. General Yunho, you will work with Ambassador Nari. Combine our fleets. Dr. Soman, you will create an interface for the children. And someone bring me Captain Jiwan. If we are trusting these children with our future, I want the human who helped raise them by their side. The chamber emptied quickly as everyone rushed to prepare. War was coming. The ancient enemy had returned. But this time, the galaxy had something it did not have 10,000 years ago. This time, it had hope. Hope in the form of two small children who were neither fully Valorian nor fully human. They were something new, something the harvester had never encountered before. They were the future, and the future. Hannah realized as she held her children was always unpredictable. The command center was filled with activity. Officers from both Valorian and human fleets worked side by side at holographic displays. General Yunho stood next to Commander Iziel, a human fleet commander with short gray hair and sharp eyes. They were planning the defense of the Nexus, a strategic point in space that the Harvester had to pass through to reach populated systems. Hannah watched from a balcony above as her children sat in special chairs in the center of the room. Wires connected them to computers. Their eyes were closed as they interfaced with the tactical systems. Dr. Solomon monitored their vital signs carefully. How are they doing? Captain Jiwan asked. She had arrived 2 days ago and had not left the children's side since. Better than anyone expected, Salman said. Their minds are processing data from both human and Valorian systems simultaneously. They are creating battle plans that neither species would think of alone. On the main display, a simulation played out. It showed the Harvester fleet attacking the Nexus. The simulation ran through hundreds of scenarios per minute, each one guided by the children's unique thinking. Prince June, Hannah's younger brother, entered the command center. His face was grim. He had just returned from a scouting mission. His ship had barely escaped. The Harvester destroyed the Talak system, he reported. 3 billion people. Gone in hours. The machines are larger than we remembered. Faster. They have improved over 10,000 years of sleep. How is that possible? Yunho demanded. They were dormant. They dreamed, Dane said suddenly. His eyes were still closed, but he was speaking. His voice sounded strange, like he was far away. I can feel their patterns in the data. They never stopped thinking. They used their sleep to evolve, to improve. To plan? Can we stop them? ICL asked. Bora opened her eyes. She looked tired, but determined. Yes, but we must do things that make no sense. We must be chaos. She activated a holographic display. It showed a battle plan that looked completely wrong. Ships positioned in ways that violated standard tactics. Attack patterns that seemed random. Timing that appeared to be mistakes. This is madness, June said. Half these moves leave our ships exposed. That is the point, Dane said, opening his eyes. The Harvester expects logic. It expects military strategy. This plan is emotional. It is based on courage and sacrifice and hope. Machines cannot calculate those things. Yuno studied the plan carefully. Slowly, he began to understand. It is brilliant, he whispered. Every move looks like a mistake. But together, they create openings that the Harvester will not see until too late. Will it work? Mireille asked. She had been watching silently from her throne. I do not know, Unho admitted. But it is our best chance. The combined fleet gathered at the Nexus over the next week. Ships from Earth, Valora, and a dozen other species filled the space. It was the largest gathering of different races in history. Old enemies were now allies against the common threat. Hannah stood on the bridge of the flagship with her children. Through the view screen, she could see the Armada. Human cruisers with their gray hulls and human writing, Valorian ships that looked like living crystals. Small fighter craft darting between the larger vessels. It is beautiful, Boris said. All the different ships together. Your father would have loved to see this, Hannah said softly. He always believed that different species could work together. He was right, Dane said. Look at us now. The sensors suddenly screamed warnings. The Harvester fleet had arrived. It emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. There were thousands of ships. Each one was a massive cube of black metal, covered in weapons and harvesting tools. Here they come, Isil said. Her voice was steady, but her hands gripped the command chair tightly. The Harvester fleet moved forward. It did not rush. It advanced slowly, confidently. The machines knew they were superior. They had calculated victory. All ships prepare for engagement, Yunho ordered. Remember the plan? Trust TH. Children. No matter how crazy it seems, follow the plan exactly. The first wave of Harvester ships opened fire. Energy beams lanced across space. Several Allied ships exploded immediately. The Harvester weapons were devastating. Execute Phase 1, Dane said calmly. The Allied fleet did something that looked insane. Instead of returning fire, they scattered. Ships flew in different directions with no apparent pattern. The Harvester fleet paused, recalculating. This was not standard behavior. They are confused, Salman reported from her station. Their attack algorithms are trying to predict where we will reform. But we are not reforming. Phase 2, Boris said. Individual ships began making suicide runs at the Harvester fleet. But these were not real attacks. They were feints. Each ship would charge forward, fire a few shots, then retreat at the last second. The Harvester tried to shoot them down, but wasted ammunition on targets that were never really in danger. "They are getting frustrated," Dane said. Machines do not feel frustration, but their programming creates similar errors when faced with inefficiency. June was piloting one of the Valorian strike craft. He dove toward a harvester cube, fired, and pulled away. His heart was pounding. The maneuver made no military sense, but he trusted his nephew's plan. Phase 3, Dane and Bora said together. This was the critical moment. Every ship in the Allied fleet suddenly stopped moving. They just floated in space, weapons powered down. The Harvester fleet stopped too. Its programming could not understand this behavior. Was it surrender? A trap? A malfunction? For 5 long seconds, both fleets hung motionless in space. Then Bora smiled. Now, every Allied ship activated their weapons at once and fired at a single point. Not at the Harvester ships, but at empty space between them. The combined energy created a massive explosion. The blast waves spread out, disrupting the Harvester fleet's formation. In the chaos, human ships equipped with special boarding teams flew into the gaps. They latched onto Harvester cubes and deployed Marines. The soldiers fought their way inside the machine ships, planting explosives and viruses. "This is impossible," came a transmission from one of the human Marines. The machines did not predict boarding actions. They have no internal defenses. "Because it is illogical," Dane explained. "Why board an enemy ship in space combat? It makes no sense." So the Harvester never planned for it. Explosives detonated. Dozens of Harvester cubes broke apart, but there were still thousands more. The battle raged for hours. The Allied fleet took heavy losses. Every time the Harvester began to adapt to their tactics, Dane and Bora would change the plan. They kept the machines off balance with constant unpredictability. Izul watched the human casualties mount. Each lost ship meant hundreds of dead sailors. But she kept following the children's orders. She had to trust them. Yunho saw his beloved Valorian fleet being torn apart. Ships that had served for centuries were destroyed in seconds. But he did not waver. The children knew what they were doing. On the flagship bridge, Hannah held her children as they worked. She could see the strain on their faces. Blood was dripping from Bora's nose. Dane's hands were shaking. "They cannot keep this up much longer," Salman warned. "Their neural pathways are overloading." "Just a little more," Dane whispered. "I can see it. The pattern. The Harvester core ship. It is there," he pointed at the tactical display. In the center of the enemy fleet was a cube larger than all the others. It was the command ship, the one that controlled the entire Harvester network. "If we destroy that, the rest will be confused," Bora said. "Like cutting off a head. Cannot reach it," Yunho said. "It is too well protected." "Yes, we can," June said suddenly. "I can reach it, brother." "No," Hannah said. June smiled at her. For the first time in years, it was a genuine smile. "I was wrong about your children. I was wrong about humans. I was wrong about everything. Let me do this. Let me make it right." Before anyone could stop him, June launched his fighter. He flew straight toward the Harvester core ship. Other ships tried to follow, but he was too fast. "Prince June, return to formation," Yunho ordered. "Negative," June replied. "Tell my sister I am sorry. Tell her children they taught an old fool that being different is not being wrong." His ship accelerated to maximum speed. Harvester weapons fired at him. His shields held for a few seconds, then failed. His hull began to burn. But he kept going. At the last second, June ejected his entire power core. The fusion reactor flew forward like a missile and slammed into the Harvester core ship. The explosion was like a small sun being born. When the light faded, the core ship was gone. And all across the battlefield, the Harvester fleet began to malfunction. Ships collided with each other. Weapons fired randomly. The network was broken. "All ships, full assault," Yunho ordered. "For Prince June, for the galaxy." The Allied fleet surged forward. Without coordination, the Harvester ships fell one by one. The battle was won, but the cost was terrible. A third of the Allied fleet was destroyed. Millions were dead, and Hannah had lost her brother. The medical bay was quiet, except for the sound of machines monitoring vital signs. Dane and Bora lay in special beds unconscious. They had not woken up since the battle ended 3 days ago. The neural strain of coordinating the entire fleet had been too much for their young minds. Hannah sat between their beds, holding their hands. She had not left their side. She had not slept. She just watched them breathe and prayed to every god she knew. Dr. Salmon checked the monitors again. Their brain activity is normal. They are just exhausted. They will wake up when they are ready. You said that yesterday, Hannah said quietly. And it is still true, Salmon replied gently. Be patient. Queen Marae entered the medical bay. She looked older than before. Grief had aged her. She had lost her son, but she had also saved her empire. Any change? Marae asked. Hannah shook her head. Marae sat down beside her daughter. For a while, they just sat together in silence. Two mothers, two women who had lost so much but still had to be strong. June's funeral is tomorrow, Marae said finally. The people want to honor him as a hero. He was a hero, Hannah said. He gave everything to save us. He did it for your children, Marae said. In the end, they changed his mind. They changed all of our minds. Outside the medical bay, the galaxy was changing too. News of the victory had spread across all inhabited worlds. The story of two half-human children who defeated the Harvester. With unpredictable thinking had captured everyone's imagination. On Earth, celebrations filled the streets. Humanity had proven itself as equal partners with the ancient races. They had stood against the Harvester and won. On Valora, people gathered in the capital city. They wanted to see the children who saved them. They brought gifts and flowers. They wrote songs about Princess Hannah's brave son and daughter. Elder Haon came to visit the medical bay. He stood at the door, looking old and tired. May I enter? He asked. Hannah wanted to say no, but Marae nodded. Hune walked in slowly. He stood at the foot of Dane's bed. I was wrong, Hien said simply. About everything. About the children. About humans. About what makes us strong. Yes, you were, Hannah said. She was too tired to be diplomatic. Have lived for 3,000 years, Hune said. I thought I was wise. I thought I knew what was best for our people. But two children taught me that wisdom is not the same as knowledge. They showed me that sometimes the right answer is the one we never considered. He reached out and gently touched Dane's hand. I will spend the rest of my life making up for my mistakes. That is my vow. Before Hannah could respond, Dane's eyes fluttered open. He looked around, confused. Mother? I am here, Hannah said, tears streaming down her face. I am here, my brave boy. Dane sat up slowly. Did we win? Yes, Hannah said, laughing and crying at the same time. We won, you did it. Bora woke up a moment later. She saw everyone crying and got worried. Why is everyone sad? Are we in trouble? Marae laughed. No, little one. These are happy tears. The news that the children were awake spread quickly. Within an hour, the medical bay was filled with people. General Yunho came to salute them. Commander ECL brought gifts from Earth. Captain Jiwon hugged them both and cried. Even young Kale came, bringing his chess set to play with Dane. Ambassador Nari arrived with a special message. The President of Earth sends her congratulations. She has declared Dane and Bora honorary citizens of Earth. You will always have a home with us. Dr. Soman examined the children thoroughly. They are fine, she announced. Tired, but fine. Their minds have actually grown stronger from the experience. I have never seen anything like it. 2 weeks later, a grand ceremony was held in the capital city of Valora. Billions watched across the galaxy as Queen Marae stood before her people. Today we honor those who fell, Marae began. Prince June and all the brave souls who gave their lives to stop the Harvester, they will never be forgotten. A moment of silence filled the square. Hannah held her children close, thinking of her brother. But we also celebrate victory, Murray continued, and we celebrate the truth that saved us, the truth that diversity makes us stronger, that love creates power, that the future belongs to those brave enough to embrace change. She gestured to Dane and Bora. These children are my grandchildren. They are heirs to the Valorian throne. They are also citizens of Earth. They are both, and that is their strength. Murray turned to face the crowd directly. From this day forward, Valorian law has changed. There will be no more talk of bloodline purity. We welcome those who wish to join their lives with other species. We welcome the children of such unions. We welcome the future. The crowd erupted in cheers. Not everyone agreed, but most did. The children had proven that the old ways were not always the best ways. General Yuno stepped forward. I have an announcement. The Valorian fleet and the Earth fleet will remain together as a joint defense force. We call it the Alliance Navy. Together, we will protect all species from threats like the Harvester. Commander Isil joined him. Humanity is honored to stand with Valora and all free peoples. We are stronger together. Ambassador Nari presented a document. Earth and Valora have signed a treaty of permanent friendship. Our children will grow up knowing each other not as aliens, but as neighbors. The ceremony continued with music and celebration, but Hannah slipped away with her children. She took them to a quiet garden behind the palace.
I love it.
Dane asked. He could see the sadness in her eyes. I am thinking about your father, Hannah admitted, and your uncle. I wish they could see this day. They can see it, Bora said, with the certainty only children have. They are watching from the stars. Hannah smiled. Maybe you are right. She sat down on a bench, and both children climbed into her lap, even though they were getting too big for it. They sat together watching the sunset. The sky of Valora was purple and gold, so different from the blue skies of New Busan, but it was beautiful. What happens now? Dane asked. Now we live, Hannah said. We honor those we lost by living good lives. By being kind? By being brave? By loving each other? Will we stay here? Bora asked. Do you want to? Hannah asked. The children thought about it. Can we go back and forth? Dane suggested. Between Valora and Earth? We are both, remember? Hannah laughed. Yes, we are both. That is a wonderful idea. Later that evening, there was a private dinner with just family. Queen Murray, Hannah, and the children sat together. Captain Ji-Wan was there too, having been adopted as honorary family. I have been thinking, Murray said, about what comes next. The Empire needs new leadership. Young leadership that understands the new galaxy. She looked at Dane and Bora. You are too young now. But when you are grown, I hope you will help guide our people. Both peoples, we will try, Dane said seriously. But we will need help. Lots of help. You will have it, Murray promised.
Not for me.
From General Yunho, from Ambassador Nari, from everyone who believes in what you represent. What do we represent? Bora asked. Murray smiled. Hope. You represent hope that different peoples can live together, that we can learn from each other. That love is stronger than fear. Captain Juan raised her glass. To the future, may it be as brave and kind as these children. Everyone clinked glasses. Even the children, who had juice instead of wine. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Hannah stood on the balcony of her room. She looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth. Somewhere out there was New Busan, where she had been so happy with Taeyang. We did it, she whispered to the stars. Our children changed the galaxy. You would be so proud. She felt a small hand slip into hers. Bora had woken up and come to find her. Cannot sleep? Hannah asked. I had a dream about father, Bora said. He was smiling. He said he loves us. Hannah picked up her daughter and held her close. He does love us. He always will. They stood together watching the stars. In the distance, they could see ships moving between worlds. Human ships and Valorian ships, traveling together, trading, sharing, learning. The galaxy was changing. Old hatreds were fading. New friendships were forming. And at the center of it all was a simple truth that humanity had always known but had to teach to others. Love matters. Kindness matters. Being different is not being wrong. These were the gifts humanity gave to the galaxy. Not weapons or technology, but wisdom of the heart. The understanding that strength comes from caring for each other. That the future belongs to those brave enough to love across all boundaries. Dane came out onto the balcony too. He yawned and rubbed his eyes. Are we having a family moment without me? Hannah laughed and pulled him into the hug. The three of them stood together under alien stars. I miss Father, Dane said quietly. Me too, Hannah said. But we are okay, Bora added. Because we have each other. Always, Hannah promised. We will always have each other. In the morning, there would be more work to do. Treaties to negotiate. Alliances to build. A galaxy to rebuild after the Harvester's attack. But tonight there was just this, a mother and her two children standing together, looking at the stars, the human woman who fell in love across the stars, the Valorian princess who chose love over law, the two half-human children who saved the galaxy. Their story had changed everything, and it was far from over. This was just the beginning of a new era, an era where different species worked together, where hybrids were celebrated, not condemned, where love was seen as strength, not weakness. Humanity had given the galaxy many things: ships, technology, music, art. But the greatest gift was this simple lesson taught by one family, that being different makes us stronger, that love creates power, that the future belongs to those brave enough to embrace it. And as Hannah held her children under the stars, she knew that Taiyang's dream had come true. A dream of a galaxy where human and alien could stand together as equals, as partners, as family. The dream was real now, and it would never die, because love never dies. It just grows and changes and becomes something new, something beautiful, something that even the oldest, wisest beings in the galaxy were finally learning to understand. This was humanity's true gift, not just to Valora, but to the entire galaxy. The gift of love without boundaries, the gift of hope without limits, the gift of a future where everyone belonged. And it all started with one woman who dared to love, one man who dared to accept her, and two children who dared to be themselves. The future was theirs, and it was beautiful.